One of the truest things for me that came about in writing this book was reminding myself that it's always my fault. Like we don't want to take ownership for whatever the situation is at this moment, and we really want to blame other things. But the truth is that, like, even though I don't want to admit it, most of the time that it's my fault. And the other part of it is not really realizing how much control I actually have over the situation. I taking control of myself, or like becoming the CEO of my life, or deciding to scale my life right along scaling my businesses is probably one of the most important things I've ever done. I feel like as a human, but I really want to say as a woman, I got 3 kids at home. I got 2 kids in college. I got a kid who's a brainiac in 7th grade. And I say brainiac because, I mean, she takes physics and chemistry and biology and Latin and linguistics, and I'm trying to keep up with her in these streets. The reality is that sometimes there were times that I looked at my life as a CEO and I didn't realize that there was like a direct correlation between my ability to be the CEO of my life and my ability to be the CEO of a company. And what's crazy is that no one ever really tells you how lonely it is at the top. I lived in a penthouse, and I'm going to talk about this more, but the truth is that I lived in a penthouse before. And you know what happened in that penthouse? It was lonely. You're way up at the top, like Rapunzel or something, or Cinderella or something. I was up there, except I didn't have the blonde hair to let down, but I did have this black hair. I had some red hair the other day. The truth is that it's like, yes, you can be in the penthouse, and yes, that could be the goal, and yes, you could see other people, and they give you this delusional approach that that is the way to live, or crush the game, or define success. But I'm going to tell you what, it is not. The greatest part about living in the penthouse is being able to bring other people up there with you. And if it's not, and if you can't bring enough people up there with you, then you've got to figure out how to go back to the ground. One of the things I implemented in my life, so one of the most important things I think I've implemented in my life in the last probably 12 months, right along scaling businesses, building a production company, was making a decision to go back to the basics in my family. So I left the penthouse and I went back. I went not back. I went to a basic house. And for some people, they'd be like, "Why do you live in a place like that?" And I'm like, "Because I don't want to be in 10,000 square feet where I can't see my kids. I want to be in a close place where I can see them as they're walking by the kitchen, where we can interact as the two of them are talking about what they're going to do on the weekend. I want to be close. I also wanted to go back to basic things like washing my own car, washing my own dishes, not being so disconnected from everything. I wanted to go back to cooking 5, 6 days a week like I used to do many years ago. But you begin this process of like scaling your life, and you hire the chef, and then like I had a concierge. I didn't even have to get my own mail. I had someone who would sign in signatures for me. And I realized at some point, like, we can only be so much disconnected when we're trying to build the next thing. For me, the greatest gift I ever gave myself, or like the answer, the way you win, is by getting your hands dirty back again. So connecting with people. So I started with my family, and I was like, okay, I need to know you at this level in this age and space of my life. Same thing with my team. I come to the studio every day, or almost every day. And why? Because that's the company I'm focused on building right now. That company, I want to see them. I want to see what happens. I want to see the process. I can't do that from behind a desk. I can't. The other day we went to a shoot across the country, and I literally went to be a fly on the wall just so that I could watch the process. Don't be afraid to go back to the basics. Don't be afraid to go back to the basics. Don't be afraid to just go back to whatever works for you. Don't be afraid to just do whatever it is that feels good. For me, cooking 6 days a week for my family after working 40 hours for the week, for some people, like, Tiffany, you don't have to cook. You're right, I don't. I could pay someone to cook. I don't want to. I stopped being driven. Now I drive a car all the time. It sounds crazy, but this is something else that I've done. Like, these little things, they've allowed me to just go back to the basics. And for me, driving to Target with my daughter, my 12-year-old, while she begs me for goldfish on a Saturday morning, like, I don't think there's anything better than that. The other day I stopped at McDonald's. Now, this is not promotion for McDonald's because I have not eaten McDonald's myself in years, but she wanted a hash brown. I was like, great, let's stop in the morning for a hash brown, making coffee in the morning and talking about what we're doing in the day. Like, I don't know what the human, I don't know what other CEOs, I can't speak for my peers who are constantly trying to shove down this agenda of, of more luxury, bigger cars, bigger houses, more wealth, and wealth is like that. I think that's poor. Like, I think that's poor. And I think that the only person that really, that you can really follow, or the only person you can really listen to, is the person who's speaking wealth and is also happy. Like, they teach you all, like, be careful who you're listening to. I guess that's what this part of the rant is. This is what this part of Daily Tea is. Be careful who you're listening to and who you're following. Yes, they're going to teach you wealth. Yes, they're going to teach you Facebook strategies, Facebook ad strategies. Yes, they're going to teach you company culture and leadership. But are they actually happy in their lives? Does their family like being together? Do they, yes, I've been married for 25 years. That's what they'll tell you. But are they happily married? Is their wife or husband going, I can't wait for them to come home? Because if none of those are happening, that is not the person you want to listen to. That is not who you want to follow. And I promise you, that is not how you win in this life. That is for sure. Every single day, my kids stay up until they wait for my daughter. My oldest daughter just moved back home just so that she could be connected with me and with her sister. She goes to college. And just so that she can hang out at night, because we do fun things like make tortilla chips from scratch and salsa from scratch, and we sit until like 1 in the morning and we eat it. We then like to have like Sunday dinners where we come up with something new and we make Sunday dinners. We go walk through Ross and we find a new shirt that one of them could wear. But it's not just one, two. All five of us are like that. We're literally inseparable. And the fact of the matter is that I started looking at the way the world was building their life, and I had to draw the line and say, well, that's for you. I want to know if you're happy, like for real happy, like in your belly happy. I'd love to know. And if you're not, then I can't listen to anything you want to say, because your Facebook ad strategy is not the one that will work for me. Your such and such is not the one that will work for me. So in this roundabout daily tea of rants, and I know this is the last day, but until next week, I just want to make sure you're clear. That's it. On what? All the things. I can't wait to see or hear what or who or why in your life. I can't wait to know if you picked up the book. I can't wait to hear and see what part of doing you're beginning to apply. Me moving to a house on the ground with my family that is under 3,000 square foot, I'm sure, is probably one of the best things I've ever done. Late night snacking has never been this good. It's so much sweeter.